But today, you're going to get to know Haji the Poet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome her on, Haji the Poet. How are you, miss?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Go ahead and get the mic up to your mouth. Let the
Hey,
people hear you.
right.
Yeah, there we
Hey
go.
everyone, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, miss. Thank you so much for asking.
You're welcome.
And now, your journey, it
Mhm.
spans from Somalia to
Yes,
the
sir.
States.
Yes.
And so, firstly, how was that path from coming from Somalia, and how was it adjusting to being in America?
Honestly, it was a process. I will say it took a bit of time,
Mm-hmm.
but just having been here for a while, I was able to pick up the language. I was able to just transition in because where I landed, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Clarkston. It's near Decatur. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically Decatur, honestly.
Okay,
Speaking
East
of the
Side.
conversation of Atlanta, I feel
Yeah.
like Decatur, all of that is Atlanta. They consider it Metro Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that community hosted a lot of refugees from Somalia. So I am a
Wow.
refugee.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, so how old were you when you came here?
I came when I was 6 years old. So I was
Mm-hmm.
pretty young. I was able to assimilate a lot quicker than my parents. I feel like they had a more challenging time assimilating because they had to start over completely. And that's very challenging. You know what I mean? Just to pick
Yeah.
up and leave and then start from scratch, which is what a lot of people have done in this country thus far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, America, in a lot of ways, is a land of refugees. In many
Exactly.
ways, refugees, they built this country.
Yes.
I do want to know, you do a lot of creative work. So, how does your roots from Somalia tie into the work that you do?
So the Somalia is known as the nation of poets. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of
I've
that,
never
but
heard that. Wow. Okay.
yeah, so that's how I was able to transition into poetry. And my mom's a poet as well.
Mm-hmm.
So poetry me or translates to gabe in my language, and it's kind of like it was an oral tradition that passed down from like generation to generation.
Yeah,
So that's how I got started.
yeah, you said it's
Yeah,
called Gubbe.
gabe.
Okay. Well, when you first started writing,
Yeah.
how was it for you? Was it just you were just writing down just random thoughts or just spilling your heart out on the page, or what went into like your process of writing?
So I started writing in elementary school. There was a creative writing class,
Mm-hmm.
and it was taught by this really cool lady. And I remember her name. Her name was Miss Hill. It's crazy how teachers have an impact on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really feel like we should put more emphasis on the impact that teachers have. But uh, excuse me. So I just remember looking forward to going to her class, and she just made it fun. You know what I mean? And at first, it was just poetry and short stories,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I entered my short story into a competition and it won. So that's how the ball
Wow.
got rolling.
That's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And about 3 years ago, you converted to Christianity, correct?
Yes, I did.
And so nowadays, a lot of your poems,
Mm-hmm.
definitely have a lot to do with your faith. So,
Absolutely.
how was your poetry before that conversion? And then how has it been after in terms of like your process of writing?
I would say previously my poetry has been everywhere,
Hmm.
different topics, etc. But I feel like there was a sense there was a lack of direction. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I feel like when I encountered God, it gave me more purpose. It gave me direction, and I was able to tap into source. So that's how I feel like it was able to, you know, I was really able to find level ground and
Hmm.
see God through my poetry. And now I feel like I co-create with him.
Wow. And
Yes.
I think a lot of people, they may hear that, see God in your poetry.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think a lot of people kind of like tie that into, I guess, like being preached at or preached to.
Right.
Is that something that you try to do whenever you do write poetry or whenever you do perform, or do you try to show like the duality of life and the duality of faith and just how life can go sometimes and still having faith?
I would say honestly, I write for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I write for me, and I write on behalf of God as well because
Mm-hmm.
He's controlling my hand. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I don't purposefully like try to, I don't know, preach. But I feel like when you live life, your entire life turns into a testimony. As you live life, as you experience different experiences, different people resonate with where you've been and what you've been through.
Hmm.
So I hope that answered your question.
Nah, it definitely did. And in one of your most recent
Mm-hmm.
poems, Diaries of a Nonconformist,
Oh yeah.
you wrote, "I'm not perfect, but I'm
Right.
self-aware."
Right.
So, what does self-awareness mean in terms of creativity?
Self awareness means knowing yourself without a shadow of doubt, knowing where you come from, knowing your purpose, and standing on it. A lot of people will try to project their insecurities or their life or this image of who they think that you are onto you based off of just the exterior. But
Hmm.
we're not our exterior. There's so many things that shape a person. So for me, it's just knowing who I am deep down inside, and that's a God body. It's knowing that I've been fearfully and wonderfully made by God, regardless of what other people think of me or
Hmm.
assume about me.
Yeah. How has that process of self-awareness been for you? Have you had any struggles in the process of, truly finding out yourself?
There's some days where I have a challenging time, but I always come back to God
Hmm.
as a source of who I am. Because people can say this and that, but at the end of the day, when the creator tells me this is who I am, that's who I
And in listening to you on your various platforms, I
am.
think
Right.
gratitude is definitely something that you
Absolutely.
hold dear into your heart.
Yes.
How are or what are some of the ways that you practice gratitude every day?
So I have a gratitude jar in my room,
Mm-hmm.
and I also have sticky notes. And every morning I try. It's not every single morning,
Mm-hmm.
mind you, but every morning I try to write down what I'm grateful for, and also prayer in the morning as well. I feel like when you wake up and you start your day with gratitude, it sets the tone for your day.
Absolutely.
Yes, so that's some of the ways that I practice gratitude. I also try to list out the everything that I have to be grateful for as well. I keep a journal. I've kept a journal since 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So I always try to list down 10 reasons what I'm grateful for and 10 reasons why. So that's some of the practices I've started incorporating into my life or have been incorporating.
Those practices of gratitude, they've definitely
Yes.
led you quite far because,
Mm-hmm.
this year in particular, with as many challenges as it's been, I think you've described it as one of your most maybe successful or progressive years where you've really learned a lot and really have gone a lot farther. How has this year been for you in terms of not just creatively, but, just in your personal life as well?
Yes, so I recently became a realtor, but I've
Mm-hmm.
been in real estate since 2020 as an investor. So I feel like success for me is just, striving to be the best version of myself. So success isn't about how much money I've made or, you know, like what material possessions I have, but the impact that I've made. And I feel like the impact that I'm making in every avenue that I touch
Mm-hmm.
is just phenomenal. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel. I've been able to step into uh, who God called me to be.
Write that piece right there. When did you write that song?
So I would say, oh my goodness, 2023, I was in my car.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to sit in my car and freestyle. So I listened to this beat. It was something like type beat. I don't remember who the type beat was based on. Because when you go
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, the type beat always has like an artist that
Yeah.
it's based on. I don't remember who it was, but I just remember listening to it and I'm like, I gotta write something right now. And I completed the whole song in the car. Just vibing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And was that the same beat that you used for the song as well?
It's the same beat, yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
excellent. So, you definitely you made plenty of songs. Some
Yeah.
songs are just instrumentals,
Yeah.
some songs are poetry.
Yeah.
You sing as well, you
I do.
rap just like we heard right
Yeah.
here. So, I guess what goes into, when you create a song? Are you
Mm-hmm.
making the lyrics first? Do you already have a beat selected, or are you making the beat first?
I got you. So, considering that I recently started producing as well, or like creating beats, I've been looking to create the beat and also, use the lyrics
Hmm.
as well at the same time. But it's challenging for me so far. I'm working on it, but my process is usually finding a beat that I can vibe to and then writing to it.
Okay, nah, I like that. And
Yeah,
you drop a lot of your tracks on Black Phoenix.
I do.
And Black Phoenix, it's a very, very unique podcast platform because, most podcasts, it's about 15 to 20 minutes
Right.
of, people talking. And
Yeah.
there are definitely episodes where you do that plenty. You have guests on. But
Yeah.
then there are some episodes where you just drop a song.
Hmm.
Or sometimes you just come on and give affirmations to people for about five
Yeah.
minutes. Sometimes you do poetry.
Right.
And so, what went into the creation of Black Phoenix?
I've always wanted to have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like one day I just sat down and I was like, I gotta do it. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
gotta cross this off of my bucket list. So for me, it was just a matter of having a platform for myself where I can perform my poetry and just add everything together because I feel like I don't want to ever limit myself
Mm-hmm.
to one thing. So that's why I wanted to have like multiple different aspects to Black Phoenix. And then later on I did start incorporating, more people into the podcast. But what goes into this process is just me sitting down and just sharing my poetry with the world. And
Mm-hmm.
then also letting creatives also come on and share their poetry and share their philosophies with the world as well.
Now, Black Phoenix, it's very soothing.
Mm-hmm.
And, definitely something that you can listen to whenever you're just
Yeah.
relaxing, studying, about to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And, one thing you describe it as a space for visionaries.
Yeah.
So, what type of vision are you hoping to make into a reality with Black Phoenix these days?
Honestly, I want to have something set up like this. And just in my home, somewhere intimate and invite
Mm-hmm.
more people. I definitely do want to host more people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the vision that I have, creating a space and then also creating a vibe, creating that, like intimate corner in my home where people can come through and share their philosophies, challenge the status quo, and empower revolutionary change through their art.
Nah, that's beautiful. And I think you'd be an excellent host.
Yeah.
The first time I ever even heard you,
Yeah.
and, full transparency, this is actually the first time me and her have met in person.
Yes.
And what prompted me to want to have her on the show is there's an episode of a great poet. Her name is Daimon, and she has a
Yes.
podcast called Becoming Great. And her
Yes.
very first guest was Haji.
Yeah.
And the reason I think you'd be a great host is because about halfway through that episode, you started just asking
Yeah.
Daimon the questions.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I guess we can get into that because you and Daimon, you definitely have a great chemistry. You've had her write for your blog as well,
Yeah.
and so has she been someone? She actually cites you
Yeah.
as someone who motivated her
Yeah.
to want to get into poetry. So go into your relationship with Daimon since we're actually talking about her, and have you inspired other people to get into poetry as well?
Honestly, if I did, I think that's amazing. You know what I mean? Daimon was the first person to tell me, hey, like you inspired me to get into podcasting, to getting into more into my writing,
Mm-hmm.
and just the growth that she has had definitely makes me so proud because we went to high school together. So I
Mm.
was able to see her grow up, you know what I mean? And just as a writer, especially. So, yeah.
Nah, it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
great to see, and tune in the next month. She's gonna be on the show as
Yes.
well.
Let's
Uh,
go. Period. You
yeah.
go, sis.
Oh yeah, yeah. So and speaking of your blog, that's where people can go find a lot of your poetry
Yeah.
in written form.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them you have performed on Black Phoenix,
Yeah.
but you're a big proponent of people starting blogs.
Mm-hmm.
And how has your blog, helped you develop and helped you grow as a writer?
Ooh, it's empowered me to be more consistent. You know what I mean? To write more. That's
Mm-hmm.
something I've been, trying to do more of because I feel like it can be challenging when you're working and doing this and life. You know what I mean? So my website has kind of just empowered me to continue writing, to be consistent, and just knowing that I am inspiring other people to start marketing themselves as a brand. Because at the end of the day, creatives,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the one thing that they could improve on is visibility.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these websites, like we saw TikTok got taken out. You know what I mean? So when that happens, where can people find your work? And that's why I encourage artists, creatives to go ahead and create their website and brand, like market yourself like a brand because you are.
And you haven't. Well, I will say, I haven't seen
Yeah.
you out in the spoken word community
Right.
in a while, but these
Yeah.
blogs definitely help you just stay within reach,
Yeah.
help people really get to see how
Mhm.
you are these days and how you're growing these days as well. But where you have been is YouTube. And
Yes.
you've been dropping a lot of helpful content for people who are trying to get into the realtor industry,
Yeah.
and you've been doing YouTube for a good little while now.
Yeah.
So, what goes into your YouTube channel, and why did you initially create it?
I initially created it to drop music, if I'm being honest, but from there it expanded into somewhere where I could, share helpful resources for in the real estate industry, how to, break into the real estate industry, how to start looking at I guess start cultivating financial skills, financial independence, etc. So, mm, that's kind of how it got started. But
Mhm.
can you repeat your question for me one more time?
Just that's essentially you answered it
Yeah.
right there. Just
Okay.
why did you start your YouTube channel, and
Right.
going forward, is it gonna be continuing just to help people with advice, or is it still gonna be just kind of a lifestyle type of channel where you drop music? Because I feel like in the same vein of
Yeah.
Black Phoenix,
Right.
it's really just where you're putting yourself out there fully, whether it's structured or whether you are just, throwing things out there and just
Right.
seeing, what gravitates to, as many people as possible.
For me, it's more so just never limiting myself, putting out whatever I need to put out for me, but
Hmm.
also just marketing my business as well. And I feel like platforms like YouTube help you to do that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Kind of like TikTok. We were talking about TikTok
Yeah.
earlier and how essential I feel like TikTok is to marketing your business and marketing your brand. For me, I just utilize these platforms to help me do that, to push out the content that I want to push out. Sometimes certain things land, certain things don't, but I feel like we underestimate what 5 views, means. Like that's
Hmm.
5 people
Yeah.
that are gathered in a place, like watching you. 125 is a lot of people, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? So, and from there you can monetize. So I see it more of a way to not only make money but make an impact as well.
Yeah, and I know you with your art, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's your writing, your
Yeah.
music, your modeling,
Mm-hmm.
it really just all of it embodies
Yeah.
you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you do many things just for
Right.
yourself as well, but
Yeah.
do you at all recognize or do you like, ever think that you will take that mantle like as
Mm-hmm.
someone who strives to be a leader? Because I think through what you do for yourself, it
Yeah.
inspires others to, be more of themselves and put themselves out there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I am a leader, and I feel like I've been a trailblazer in more ways than one. And for a long time, I don't think I truly understood how much I've impacted others
Hmm.
because sometimes people won't say that. You know what I mean? They'll look, they'll like, they'll view, but they won't say, hey, you've inspired me to do this, or you've really put me in a position to start thinking about my business or my brand differently. So I truly do believe that I am a leader, and I am working towards cultivating more leadership skills as well.
Yeah, and one of the last questions I'll ask is just in the same vein, because listening to Black Phoenix, there was an episode where you talked about taking breaks and taking hiatuses every once in a while because you do need to
Yeah,
refresh yourself. You do
yeah.
need to give yourself that space to
Mm-hmm.
recharge.
Yes.
Um, and me personally, like, I definitely felt that for sure.
Yeah.
We've been doing the spotlight this whole year, grinding it
Right.
out. It's been a pleasure,
Yeah.
but there is some days where that wall tends to hit.
Mm-hmm.
For artists who are kind of feeling a bit burnt, for artists that are feeling like they're not getting as much
Right.
out of their art as they maybe did in the past, what can you speak to in terms of like, taking a break and taking a hiatus and, how that may help?
Mm. I would say taking hiatuses are necessary. For me, I'm always between disappearing off of social media
Mm-hmm.
and marketing my business so I can get this money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's always a thin line. But for the artist that feels like, they're battling burnout and they want to just take a step back, do it. At the end of the day, people are still here, platforms are still here, and the people that will truly show up for you, they're going to show up for you regardless of, how long you step back for. And I think the challenge some people have is, oh, people are going to forget about me. No, you're good. You're always going to have a platform. There are platforms that are ready to see your work when you are in your most healed. Well, there's no such thing as most healed, you know what I mean? But when you're refreshed and rejuvenated. Plus, that's also good for you as a creative because you're able to create from a space of rest. And and I feel like that's the best place to be, you know what I mean? So step back, log out, click out, deactivate if you need to, because scrolling and watching other people's lives can be taxing.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these people don't truly care what you got going on, you know what I mean? And some people do. Some people watch you, don't say anything, they just be watching. Weirdos. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. But no, yes. Back to the question. Take a step back and pour into yourself. Just like you pour into other people, pour into yourself.
Yeah, you've definitely been pouring into yourself lately. Like you said, getting to that money.
Yep.
And also, you have definitely taken a step back from being upward on stage. Do you remember the last time you actually went to perform poetry on a stage or open mic?
I would say I did take a step back for a while, honestly, just to cultivate more skills. I don't even recall, honestly, but I do have a show coming up with Apache
Okay,
XLR. So
okay.
this next Wednesday, should I say, I don't know when this is gonna
Wow.
air, but next Wednesday, we're set to do a show. So I'm coming back and starting to perform more. That's on my bucket list too, to start like showing up to shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a homebody though. Like I like to be at the crib just chilling. You know what I mean? So when I get to a place and I see it's like a lot of people, I'm like, okay, 30 minutes in, I gotta go. Show face. Okay, nice to meet y'all. Have a good day.
Nah, I respect it. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was gonna be my last question. If you did plan on starting to step out a bit more, I love hearing your poems on your podcast.
Yeah.
I love reading them. But, actually seeing artists perform on stage, it
Mm-hmm.
does hit a bit different. So,
Oh yeah.
after that Apache performance, are you gonna be hitting any other spots or what else do you have going on next?
Absolutely. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Portia the poet.
I am.
You are. So
Yeah.
she is doing a show. She's doing a couple of shows, and I'm looking to perform in that as well. So just slowly but surely lining up different opportunities so I can get back on the stage and perfect my craft.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Haji, I definitely appreciate you for joining me here at the Spotlight.
Yeah.
Before we get into your last piece, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you and where they can keep up with your work.
I got you. So you can find me at Haji the Poet. That's HajiThePoet on most, if not all, platforms. My website is also HajiThePoet.com, so it's pretty straightforward. If you want to reach me for any real estate resources, etc., how to break into the industry, if you want to buy, sell a home, rent, if you're an investor, you can call me at my business number 678-223-3338. I feel like Soldier Boy.
Hey, I know that's right. Hey, come on now.
678. Okay.
Triple nine 8212.
Yes.
But yeah, for your last piece, now, do you want to preview this one a little bit, or are we gonna hop into this one too?
Honestly, it's gonna be short pieces. I just want to go ahead and take a look to see
Mm-hmm.
which two or three I'm gonna perform.
Mm-hmm.
So I just need 1 minute.
Nah, it's all good. Well,
I got
listen,
you.
while she looks up her piece, hey, if you guys have not followed the Spotlight on Instagram, definitely go ahead and check us out. That's the Spotlight underscore poetry. You'll find all the performances that we've had thus far in our 12 episodes. Coming up soon, we'll be posting the performances from both Haji the Poet and Spoken Chants. So definitely, you don't want to miss out on the Spotlight poetry. That's the Spotlight underscore poetry on Instagram. The YouTube is definitely coming soon. And thanks to Haji's influence, the TikTok probably coming soon as well. But you can find us on Instagram as well as Kluster TV like you're watching now. You can, if you haven't watched any of the previous episode, if this is your first episode you're watching, go ahead, check out all 11 episodes we have available. But Haji, are you ready to go up there for your last piece? All right, guys.
This poem, or two poems, three. Do we have time?
Hey, you know what? It's on you. It's
I
the
got
last
you.
one. So, hey, if we
We'll
go over a
see.
little bit, that it is what it is.
I got you. So, the first poem is called Youth. Steadfast, I'm trying to get my stability back. Hope is a cracked foundation, but we the prophets that grew up on curved pavements, still on the run. Still waiting on my dreams to catch up to me. For once, have faith in me. Through all my faults, the odds favored me. So when my ancestors say come, better believe we taking flight. Roots so deep we shifting tectonic plates. I am my own hero. I thought I'd let you know. Maskless, how I face the world. No cape because my body be the shield. See, skin so black, we suffocate in blue lights till we're bulletproof. So that's the first poem. Second one is called Premonitions, and you can find all of these poems on my website. Okay. My goodness. Give me one sec.
Oh, hey, get that phone out a little bit. You gotta get the first line sometime.
Right? I'm telling you. Okay. There you go. Late nights, early mornings, or when my thoughts settle. I gotta let my hair down. It keeps my head leveled. I'm practicing patience. The devil keep pacing deep in my thoughts, and she's searching for layers. I take my blessings in stride, so please keep up. I'm not saving time, I'm spending it. Today could be my last, so I pay my dues to the past. See, heaven isn't promised. They giving freedom to false prophets. We facing the world with honor. I got visions of making millions like there's worth in $1. This poem is a little longer because previously it was a song. So it is called Survival. You know these people don't know the sacrifices you know these people don't know the sacrifices you made. They just see a perfect picture and they get to fucking hating. Late nights, nigga, I might have went insane. The color of red, I rage, sinning, living fast. Tell them pick up the pace. I got moments I can't speak on, but what's understood don't have to be said. No niggas that know my body only for the comfort it provided, laying in my arms while my mind is autopilot. Did you really know me? To tell you the truth, I ain't even know myself. So naive, how you fool a deity. And it was such a pity. These figures would cross fingers, plotting on my demise. Hallucinations at night. I got scars on my arms. Thought I could cut the trauma. I got scars on my heart for loving a little too hard. People preoccupied with just touching the surface. I broke curses. Watch the way you address me. I'll slap the senses out of anyone, and I mean anyone who think they can test my intellect like I'm not gifted. Baby, I'm a gift, so I live in the present. Don't preach to me, I don't care for organized religion. I see the lies because I realize I'm claiming my birthright. You don't see my vision. My vision is rooted in my survival, born in the camps, but as a child, you don't see reality you created. I've been traumatized. PTSD without therapy used to medicate. No Medicaid, a product of two lovers who couldn't love the same. It was days I wasn't eating, starved my ego and went to bed with my demons. I don't got a reason to resent. I be where the trees is, connecting with nature and finding God in horizons, finding God in my eyes. I forgive you. I forgive you if you ever hurt me. Just know my God is keeping count and he cutthroat. Spill the blood of your kinfolk. Shit ain't sweet. You gon' need more than cardio to keep up with my mind. I lifted the veil when I saw myself on the other side. I'm claiming my light.
Mm. Thank you so much, Haji. I appreciate you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you to Spoken Chance for coming onto the spotlight.